Okay, it's 6:01 PM. I'm gonna trust that things are recording, and I'm going to open the October 3, 2023 meeting of the Rutland Conservation Commission. Present in the room, Scott Langren, Jared Gentilucci, Peter Crane, Skip Clark, excuse me, Joe Delaquila, our staff, Bree,
Weigel.
what?
It's
I'm
Weigel.
sorry. Weigel.
It's
I
fine.
will, and then I'll lose it again.
It's okay.
And Tamika.
Roberts, Tamika's last name.
My last name's easy
Don't do that to me. T. Murphy.
Can we sing happy birthday to her?
No.
Of course we can.
No,
No, we'll pass
Oh,
on
all right. We have
that, just to make you happy.
Thank you.
Share screen. Here we go. Minutes. Just a second. I'll have them up. There they are. Meeting minutes.
I'd make a motion to accept as written. I didn't find a problem with them when I wrote them.
There you go.
I'll second.
Awesome. Corrections, questions, comments.
None.
Roll call.
Abstain. Delaquila abstain.
Clock eye.
Gentilucci, aye.
Langren abstain.
Crane eye. Moving on. No, I said. Where the hell is, there it is. Oh, we have an RDA. This is just a submission tonight, right? Okay. So I will let you take it over. Here's our form and here is the plan.
Okay, this is the lot number 1S, which we had before this board before. And it was denied and I went into the appeal process. And as of now, I've got no response in the appeal process. And I just said, well, I'm not gonna play the games and we're going to move everything out of your jurisdiction. So I just want to make it noted that we are outside the 100-foot buffer. So I'm out of your jurisdiction.
Yep.
And I'm also outside the so-called Zone A as depicted on the GIS, which I do not agree with at all. But in this particular case, I'm showing it. Here it is. I'm out of your jurisdiction. We want a determination that we are out of your jurisdiction and we can move forward. So I had gone and had the planning board sign a new Form A, changing the shape of the lot. So it's a new lot shape. That's signed, sealed, and recorded. And that's the rest of the lot.
So you abandoned the first one then?
Where, yeah, as
Okay.
soon as this gets approved,
Right.
I'll take the notice of the other lot shape and tell the DEP that we're no longer seeking a superseding order. But I'm not doing that until this is in my hand,
Of course.
so.
What are the little boxes? Because I see.
Those are the old soil tests where the septic used to be, so that there's no question on what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
So before I had the septic outside the 100-foot, outside the jurisdiction of the DEP, but that was I still haven't got an absolute determination, and I don't care. So I'm out of it on this one, and we'll worry about it at the next time. We're lucky enough that we're able to change the shapes of the lots a little bit.
Right.
And get around it. But not everybody will be this lucky.
I note how close you are to the 100, not because I'm saying this is a problem. My only thought was, if this house shape changes or grows,
We gotta come back.
pushes that, okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep, fantastic. All right, I don't have any other, there's no, it looks like there's effectively no earth movement on this. It looks like
Yeah, it's actually very, worked out pretty good. 'Cause
It's pretty flat.
Yeah.
It's very flat and it was able to grade into the site.
Yep.
So,
Alrighty,
I have a question.
please.
Did you all walk the site?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Many
Okay.
times.
Okay, okay.
We walked
Because-
it and DEP walked it.
And
DEP walked it with us
Oh.
too.
Okay,
What's her name? Who was there that day?
Judy Schmidt,
Judy Schmidt was there and same thing, she was going on vacation, she didn't wanna walk in. But same thing, if you look at where that drainage swale is, you can barely see it, and that's, I mean, I'm sure maybe after 2 inches of rain Saturday, but same thing, she's like, it shows on a map more than it shows in reality.
everybody at the Central Mass Regional DEP office knows about this piece of property.
Right.
oh,
But-
okay.
I haven't gotten,
Our deterrent,
But they
right?
haven't said, yeah, I
they
get it.
haven't,
Yeah, cause so
come up to
basically
the plate.
they're still hanging their fact to just talk to the map guy and have him whatever, which
Or
is.
whatever, I
Yeah.
really don't know.
Because again, there was nobody to talk to, that's what her thing was.
I'm
So you
putting it
moved
to
to
the
the
side
side
saying,
outside, right,
in this case, I can walk around it and I'm gonna walk around it.
yep. Yeah, it's outside jurisdiction, it is what it is.
It's already cost them enough. It's been close to 6 months. When this came about.
Other questions? Go
I
ahead.
only asked because, I think I put it in the email, I don't know if anybody read it,
I
but
did.
I wanted to walk the wetland boundary line. But if you guys have walked it and you feel
Mhm.
comfortable with it, then
It's okay if she comes out and walks the line, Julian?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
I
know you're not the
sound that
landowner,
way,
so-
But I don't wanna take any delays from this point on that has been
Been how many months?
beat to a
6.
pulp,
About 6.
about 6. I have no problem, actually, we can,
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is too, is like Judy walked it, Judy saw the line, I mean, she's even above, but yeah.
you know, and all the other people that are at the DEP level. So, but it's a very small, simple. I would, if we got another one sometime, I'd absolutely have no issue.
Okay,
I don't wanna sound that way, but it is. If it didn't go the way it went,
Mhm.
I would say absolutely no problem. But it's like every time a new face looks at something, I get thrown back 3 months, 4 months, and then come back to where in the end, so. But.
so there. Submitted, yes?
Yep, so I will publish this in the paper for our 10/17 meeting, so you can make a determination next time.
Great.
So it's 10/17.
Yes.
So why don't we just, so there is no question at 10/17, do we wanna set up something? Sorry, I didn't introduce myself to you. What's your name?
I'm Brianna.
Brianna. I'm Julian.
You.
If we can set up a time, I'll be more than happy to walk you.
Next Friday would probably work best, but I can email you. if you want.
This coming up Friday,
Not in a couple of days, the next one
next
of
one,
next
that
week.
probably would work.
Okay,
I think I'm around. If not, then the Monday, you're on Mondays and Fridays or just Fridays?
no, I'm on Mondays and Fridays, but I have a training that I'm doing in New Hampshire, for a couple of Mondays this
So the
month.
date, what's the date of the Friday?
It's the 14th.
Is there any particular time?
6 o'clock.
I like to get it done early, maybe 8 AM,
14th is Saturday, the 13th is Friday.
Sorry.
13.
Friday the 13th, I like observation only, there'll be no intel from this, cause I'm locked by determination. I'm just doing, this is a courtesy. This really went in a very bad way. It really, I couldn't get straight answers.
Well, you still don't have a straight answer.
I don't, but I do, cause now I have a solution.
Yeah.
So the next one we'll still go through. If I can't get around it, we'll get a straight answer. Eventually, there'll be one that I can't work around.
Right.
But,
I do wanna ask, what's the limit of work here?
outside the 100-foot buffer. The 100-foot buffer line, cause if I cross that, I have to come to you,
Right.
so that is the limit of work. So in your determination, you can note it as the 100-foot buffer is the limit of work. Anything goes beyond that, you will come and see us and file a notice of intent.
Is there gonna be a way that that 100-foot buffer is marked in the field so that you know not to go past that line? Because if not, if it's like just lawn, then
That,
it's kinda unclear,
that could be,
like flagging or something, I don't know.
it could be staked
Okay.
at the time of construction to keep everybody out of there. I have no issue with that.
We have little signs with happy faces on.
There won't be happy faces.
Wet faces.
There would have been happy faces, but there's no more happy faces. So,
Anything else? There we go, Julian.
all right, thank you.
Do that.
You have a big pile of nothing, have a good night.
You know, if there's anything else that I gotta be here for or not, but
I don't,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, we
Clay doesn't
a
have
agenda.
anything, right?
Not here, not tonight.
Okay.
Well, depending upon what Bree has to say in her conservation agent update.
I guess, do you wanna start at Route 56 and Tracy's?
no, let's see
Actually, why
what
don't we, you got, is there anything over at Bryce to talk about? Cause.
At Bryce Lemon?
Yeah,
On Woodside Ave, I guess there were some trees.
that's this one right here.
Yep,
I'm just saying because he's sitting here.
yep. So if you go all the way down. Yep, so where the silt fence was, they've reinstalled silt fence because they've taken down a couple of trees. So when I was talking with Tom, I guess the silt fence wasn't installed in the correct location initially, but now it is, that those trees have been removed and they've reinstalled it. So I went out there yesterday with Tom and with DCR and everything looked good at Woodside, so.
Okay.
Good.
Yep. And that's just the
Yep, no,
pointer.
thank
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I think that really is it, Julian.
actually, there was one more, cause I the one on Walnut Street.
Yeah,
What is the policy now, so I know? Just so that I didn't not call you I'm not calling you. I get called by my clients to do certain things. I'm not gonna go out and do something when somebody calls and says, hey, can you go do this? Well, unless my client hires me, I don't do it. So what is the policy going to be now for the end result, so I can tell them, be ready, you're gonna need to do A, B, and C, or, cause it used to be, if they were done, somebody would come into the board and say, we're done, you guys would go walk out, take a look, say, everything's stable. And I didn't get involved.
Right.
This is the first time I was asked to give second time. We had one on Turkey Hill, just to add the driveway and a couple of things.
Right.
And that really wasn't much more. But
So-
if there's going to be a as-built, I'm all for it.
Our orders of conditions now always request an as-built to get the COC.
Okay, perfect.
Is that in there?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
It is now.
The last time that we went through.
Right.
That's when it was added.
Okay.
So it hasn't been there forever, I'm not trying to say it
So the
was.
newer ones, like this was a newer one, so I had it in there.
Exactly.
But you tell the landowner after, this is the last part of the bill, and they don't have 2 nickels to rub anymore.
Right.
And now, you need this, and the only way to do that is to actually go out and
Oh, yeah, gotta
survey
measure it, yeah.
and say that this disturbed area is here, and it falls within your limit of work, so you're okay. And I'm gonna show what's there.
Mhm.
So if it goes beyond the limit of work, got nothing to do with me.
That's fair, since you're not doing the work, yeah.
And I'm telling people that, hopefully if it is a little beyond, it's all stabilized and no issue, but, so. This particular one it was a cornfield
Mhm.
that was tilled every year. This one's in actually more vegetated state than it has been in the last 50 years. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
truth,
yeah,
truth to the matter on this one. Cause that was up until 3 years ago, it was tilled and corn was planted right up to, pretty much right to the brook.
mhm,
And now there's a
Right.
200-foot zone that we didn't cross.
mhm.
So I think in this particular case, if it's possible, just, not that I don't wanna do it, but I think this was very obvious that everything is vegetated, and they had the DCR line also that we staked while they were doing construction, and they didn't cross. They might have feathered it at the end, but there was actually rows of corn stalks still.
Tamika, do you have the notes from last meeting about, or actually, we'll probably have it in the minutes for what we thought was missing? Cause there were specific things we were looking for.
So it is in the minutes, but I know Bree knows specifically
Yep.
what they were looking for, cause if you remember, we issued the COC contingent
Contingent
upon
on it,
receipt
that's
of
right.
that. Yeah, and I know both Bree and I have had a conversation with the developer, but Bree spoke with him just recently.
It was a foundation
Right.
plan.
Yeah, and I actually reached out to Melissa afterwards to reconfirm the details that we were asking to be on there. So we were asking for all buildings that have been constructed, so the house to be on there, driveway, limit of work, which sometimes is the erosion control barrier, sometimes it's not, but the limit of work. I think those were the
That
three things.
sounds like what it was.
that were-
So Julie,
yeah.
what we got was a foundation plan.
Right.
Doesn't have any of the
Now
others.
that is, that, what they use that for is for the building inspector to
Right.
give an OP,
Oh.
saying that this meets zoning. And
Right.
you also, they have a Title V septic as-built plan,
Mhm.
which only shows the leach field, septic tank, D-box, the house, and that it in the well, but it doesn't show the wetland stuff, per se, usually,
Right.
almost never. So, it just shows that it was built where it was designed. It's assumed it's.
The wetland line is supposed to be on there as
That
well,
was the other
that
thing
was
I
the
was just
fourth
thinking
thing.
of, the
Yeah.
original.
And so the
wetland
original
line.
well, so you want us to
Yeah.
add the original wetland line,
Yeah, from the original survey, yep.
and not a problem at all. The only time it gets a problem is we used to, septic as-bilt's usually on just a small scale. So sometimes your wetlands are far enough off that we're focusing on the septic. We're
Right.
supposed to be 100 feet away from this wetland, or 50 feet. So it does create another document, sometimes, not always.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start making it known that you need that actually with the septic as-built, COC as-built, and building inspector
Exactly.
as-built.
Yep.
And we can't, it'd be a nice world if we could do it all in one, but you can't, it doesn't quite work that way.
Things don't
Sometimes it
scale
gets too
very
busy,
well. Right.
so,
Yep, I agree.
but it is what it is, part of the building,
Ask you a question?
yeah.
Going down to Bear Hill 2. Right before, if you go down, right before you go over the bridge on the right-hand side across from pump station, is that a lot?
No, there's a detention pond. Before you get to the new bridge they built, pump stations here,
Yeah.
there's a big cleared area.
Yeah,
That's actually a detention pond
that they're gonna put in.
that they got
Okay,
built.
cause the same thing, cause I walked there now, and I'm looking, I'm like, I don't remember a lot going there, and I said, if that's a lot, how are you gonna do that?
I don't believe there's a house on it. I think
Okay.
it's just a,
Okay, just
with all the drainage dumps
forgot to
there
ask you
on
when I saw
that
you,
side.
I forgot to ask you when I saw you the other day, cause I was kinda like,
Pretty sure, that's just from memory.
Yeah.
Cause if it would have been a house, there already would have been a house there.
right, okay. Just because it's clear.
Then you would have built the pump.
Oh, just
house.
because it's cleared now, I'm like, okay, I can't remember that piece of it. And
Yeah.
eventually we're gonna get a phone call, cause now everybody's going through that way.
Right,
And I wanna know, it's like, okay, if it's part of the plan, it's part of the plan.
it's part of the roadway,
Okay.
yep.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
going back to Walnut, are we going to need something? Or are we gonna be able, they are gonna want, okay, well, I'll wait to hear from them. I think they did reach out, and they said, well,
Yeah, actually asked, they were gonna come this evening and couldn't, and asked if we could push this to the October 17th agenda because
Sure.
the property owner and the developer would like to come. So I'd let them know I could put that on the next agenda.
Works for me.
That works. That's it.
That is really probably it for you.
As-built requirement checklist, is there actually something written out that,
That's what we're working on.
that'd be good. That way, I'm not the bad guy, cause believe it or not, sometimes, well, why do you need to do this?
But in fairness, I
I
did
don't wanna do this.
did send the developer the special conditions and highlighted that it was condition number 39
Yeah.
because they said it was something that was not known. So I did point out to him that it is known and it has been in the special conditions for quite some time now.
Yep.
Huh, people didn't read the permit, who would have thought?
Yeah.
That never happened.
So it's not new information, but I do think it would be helpful, which is why we added it, to
Right.
have a more
Perfect.
descriptive list of what the commission would like
That
on
way,
the
there's no
as-built.
question and
Yep.
on my end or anyone else who does this, this is what you guys are looking for, get it on a plan, give it to you. Done. That works.
Alrighty, Bree, if you wouldn't mind going over, so this is the Palmagussit.
And
We have
actually,
two dates, that's interesting, okay.
yep, so if you just go up just a little bit, I put the dates of the
Oh.
site visits in the header. Because I
Nice.
couldn't figure out what was happening with the name of the file, which was the problem at the last meeting, so I just figured I'd put it right in the header. And that would solve a lot of issues, so. Yep, so I think you were at this site visit.
That was one of them, yep.
Yep, on the 15th, which Tracy from DOT was there. And I think she's on Zoom now.
Yes, she is.
Yep,
Hello.
hello. Trying to jog my memory. Yeah, so we decided to pull all the silt sacks at this meeting. We asked the contractor, Mike, to do some street sweeping, which I did see him doing, so I can confirm that that happened and
Good.
streets look a lot better. I think that Miles Road is just continuously it's just a vulnerable point on the project.
And
I
it's
think.
going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah,
I mean, since they're talking about, there's an option to dig up the water main again, that's gonna just open the road.
yeah.
And so
And-
hopefully they get all that done when they can still get blacktop.
Oh, that's fun. You can always get it out of Boston.
Okay.
Hi, just curious, Tracy Capellotti, Mass DOT. When you talk about the water main, are you talking about a separate contractor or contract?
Yes.
Yes, that is a separate,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I just wanted clarification, thank you.
The silt fence on Miles Road is, it's just something we gotta keep an eye on always. Which in the site visit summary I made from yesterday, Miles Road is in there as well as, a difficult point. I did go out on my own and I took pictures of sediment deposits at Molten Pond Dam, which are in the photos. I also added page numbers, so that way I can just tell you what pages to look at
Oh, great.
for certain things. So I think it's the very last, couple of pages where we see all of the sediment
That looks
deposits.
like the dam.
And so I tried to take pictures of the sediment and then a reference shot is pretty much trying to do.
Right, because this is where we saw sediment, a clear sediment trail
Yep.
towards the pond.
So I know DOT wants to bring out SWICA to, I think, do some remediation, so hopefully these pictures, are helpful for that. But yesterday, I met with Adele from DOT and also with Alan from DCR. We walked the project. We did ask Mike to put a silt sack in across in the catch basin across from Miles Road because there is a lot of sediment right there from the retaining wall that they're working on. Miles Road, the silt fence is not trenched in some areas. Again, like I mentioned, it's just a really tough spot. And we also did find some sediment on the other side of the dam, at the inlet. I think I called it the outlet in my site visit summary, but I should have, no, it is the outlet. It is the outlet. So those are kind of the big things there. Can you go over to that summary? Okay.
Findings, recommendations, or do you want further down?
I'm sorry?
Did you want this section or?
No, like the site visit summary from yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. That's Brentnell.
okay. Yeah. So here, Miles Road is on pages 2 to 10.
Right.
And basically it's, the silt fence isn't trenched in, there's silt getting deposited into the resource area, but we did talk with Mike about removing that sediment, and he removes it with a shovel by hand, so, he will be doing that. Like I said, the catch basin across from Miles Road is receiving a lot of runoff from, the detention wall that's being constructed. My understanding is that that detention wall is going to be done within the next 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. I'll let you guys know because I'll be out there on a weekly basis.
And then they'll be putting in the sidewalk right afterwards, I assume?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the plan.
And they put the basin for the other one that's down farther now.
Right.
We're on the footings for that, so. Yep.
So how much sediment did you see on the other side of a teaspoon, a bucket, a
At
yard?
the dam or at Miles
Yeah,
Road?
let's start at the dam and then we'll talk on Miles Road.
So at the outlet of the dam, it was specifically just above the head wall of the outlet. You know, I'm not gonna say it's anything more significant than what we saw on the other side. It's pretty much the same as that. Adele and I, and also Alan, we were all talking, and that sediment was probably deposited before they had the 2 filter tubes stacked up on top of each other, so it was something that probably breached before that. We don't think it's anything recent, but we don't really know, of course. And then there was also sediment that was deposited near that wetland at the very end of the project.
Right.
And those are the last 4 pages of the site visit summary, at the very bottom, the pictures of that. So this is Miles Road.
Oof, that one was bad.
And Brianna, if I could just ask, how far is that sediment from the resource area? Do you know or estimate?
I don't know exactly. I don't know where the boundary of the wetland is behind that silt fence. I don't see it extending very far behind the silt fence, though. It's maybe a foot or
Right,
2 behind it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw last week.
Yep.
Is this at the top of Miles? At the hill as it approaches Palmagussit, or is this further down?
It's a little bit further down.
Okay, I don't know that wetland area.
It's not that close.
Okay.
I mean, you're there.
Even though one at the top's not very close.
It's
I mean,
right, right.
But you can see kind of that it's not trenched in there.
You can see that on this one, yeah.
And Brianna, you took some photos down by the dam of some sediment that you were talking about. Did you see anything in the water?
I did not see anything in the water, but we did talk with the property owner who has that house that was basically an old mill. And he says that he sees sediment washing into the water body regularly, but he didn't have any evidence, so,
I have pictures.
yeah. Yep,
I have pictures.
Actually,
I gotta
could you
find
send
him. I
those
have to
to
find
me?
him. He asked me last night. I have to find him
Okay.
again.
cause I think
Did you walk across his dam? Where he has his beehive?
I did not walk across it.
Yeah. If you go, are you walking Monday again?
Yeah, I actually am gonna
Send
work
me a message.
Monday.
I'm around. Send me a message. I'll walk you down there.
Okay, yeah, I definitely.
Cause I'm here as far as I know. I don't know go to Maine, so if
Yeah,
you want, we can walk down there and I can show you the other side of the river
okay,
too.
okay,
And then,
That's
yeah, if there's
Yeah.
anything you have, like I was saying, just to
TSS is
pinpoint,
pretty excessive.
Right. Yeah, I mean during when the big washout happened before you came in and did the triple mulch bales and
Yeah.
the road was all dug up. That whole mill pond, as we call it, the whole bottom of that mill pond, after it settled out, was brown. I mean, and now that it's been 8 weeks, a lot of it's gone downriver. It's because it's slowly coming out of it because there's so much muck in the bottom
This
of
is
it.
the sample on, from the other side of the road.
Right, and yeah, so it's, again, a lot of it's migrating because it's taken so long for anybody to look at it. But I have pictures of that, I have pictures of a lot of that when it happened. I have to find them again.
yeah, anything you could share would be helpful, and
Yep.
then we can get the wetland scientist out there.
Right, and it's one of those, whoever, because I'm sure they're not coming Monday.
no,
But if we wanna watch Monday, we can
Yeah,
do that, and
we can walk
and we can go to the other piece of property, because they used to own it. And
okay,
we can see what's downriver, because you can see on the opposite side of Molten Mill, there's a catch basin there per se. Because
Okay.
it was dammed up, and you can see what's in there.
yeah,
So it's catching itself as it's going, but you're already 500 feet out of the pond.
Yeah.
Well, it's still evident inside the stream
Right,
further
So-
down.
so yeah.
okay, yeah. I think that would be helpful, so then I can communicate that with Tracy.
Yeah, and I find pictures, because I did send them
Okay.
originally off to whatever. I did send them,
When did you send them? Remember around when?
I'll have to look, I'll look through my emails, because I was just looking you up, and I'll find them and I'll pull them out, because most of the time I delete that stuff, but they might be on my computer at home. So, but we can walk it so you get better.
Okay,
Any help
Yeah.
would be appreciated, just to kind of pinpoint, so that I'd like to try to, make it as productive as I can when we get SWICA out there, so they can see everything and then, compose a report, and we can, kind of go from there on what the plan is moving forward.
so then this is that wetland at the very end of the project. And I noticed that there was some sediment very close to the resource area. And then Alan and I did some digging and we found that there was an outlet. There's a catch basin right across the street that is just plugged up of sediment. So we've asked them to put in check dams and also a filter tube to kind of block that for now, but it is on my to-do list to go out there and take pictures of where there's sediment, because it's not a huge wetland, but it's pretty sizable. So we need to know what's going on there.
Remind me Monday, I'll show you a piece at the rail trail too.
Yeah,
There's actually a cross drain that was installed on that that is clogged,
yeah,
that goes across into a wetland. That goes actually back under the road, and they didn't tie it in when they did the road,
oh, okay,
so that's another problem.
and that was from this project, yeah.
It was done beforehand when the rail trail went in. And part of it was to direct water, because everything was shutting to one side. So
Yeah.
they did it to prevent the other way, to go back in where it was supposed to go,
They're trying to balance the
flow.
the flow on either side.
And when
of
this
the road.
project happened, it never got tied back in,
Oh, okay,
and that whole thing is full. I'll show it to you. But
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
put yourself a note, because I
yeah,
don't know, my brain's full of stuff.
we'll have to,
Yeah.
I'll talk with you after the meeting, I'll meet you at your place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just one quick question before you move from this picture. So that outlet, is that the one going down the hill about halfway down on the left?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. and the catch basin, like across the street that it's connected to, is just like full of sediment. I mean, it's in tough shape, so, I have pictures of it. I think
The
either,
next one, I think.
is it the next picture, or,
Sorry, I didn't have that.
That's the concrete one. No,
maybe it's before this, so a couple of pictures.
there you go.
Yeah, so that's the catch basin, and then the picture one above this is, you know, that's
What's going into it?
all the sediment that it's receiving, so, yeah, another vulnerable area for sure. That is, you know, letting out right into a resource area, so gotta be careful with that. But on Monday, I am going to look at that.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else on Palmagussit Road or Miles Road?
It's enough.
Let's talk about Brentnall Estates.
Yes. So I walked this with Tom and also with Alan from DCR. I asked him if he wanted to come along, and he did, so we walked. There are some areas where the silt fence is kind of like bending over, and there are some areas where it's completely bent over and silt or sediment is being deposited beyond the silt fence, beyond the limit of work. So Tom has been really good. I've been letting him know, and he'll hand it out, and it's pretty much fine. They didn't have.
Excuse me, Bree, just a quick question. Are we done with Palmagussit Road?
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Talk soon. You too.
So these are just pictures of where the silt fence is, you know, not doing its job, so. Yeah, I've asked him to repair it. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll send me pictures. We're gonna be walking the site together every week. They don't have their DEP signs up at the site, so I've let him know.
Notice that.
Yep.
I don't think they ever were, now that you mention it.
Yeah,
I
so,
don't remember.
but they're being
They
ordered.
they probably rotted. Spending time.
I don't know if they ever were.
40 years.
Because Tom didn't seem to know really what I meant when I said DEP signs. But they're ordered now, so they're gonna be up soon. This is the replication area that I did not know existed, but exists. So I took some pictures of it. They did a lot of the plantings already, according to Tom.
Oh, yeah.
I've asked Tom, but if any of you know the consultant who is doing this replication area, if anybody has their contact info, I wanna get in contact with, I think it's Lucas Environmental.
I have their contact info.
Do you? Could you send that to me so that way I can set up a meeting with them? So yeah, I'll, you know, I have an idea to create a spreadsheet because we have a lot of replications in town and we need to keep track at what step we're at with each replication, so that's a personal project.
I thought we just planted pot plants and said it was good. Made for happy plants.
They did.
That's right.
Then you can do smiley face signs.
That's right.
So there's this trench, and according
Yes.
to Tom, this is where the replication starts. So, and it's lined with cattails, so,
It's working.
yep. I think Alan and I were talking about, you know, whoever ends up buying this house in the future, I mean, it's gonna be a while from now, but, you know, we'll have to
least 2
communicate with
months.
them. Yeah. We'll have to communicate with them and let them know, hey, you have a resource area right in your backyard, and,
It's a good selling point.
right, and do a little bit of wetland education, it's a good
Yeah, this one was
opportunity.
approved before we had markers and boulders as quasi-standards.
Oh, okay.
Again, I think there's enough bowls they could ask nicely. They might put them there.
Oh, they had some right there on site that would
Yeah.
work perfect.
It's just one of those you ask and go, really?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
Really it? No, that is it, okay.
That's water. That's Kermit's cousin,
Water? It's a
Hector.
little hard to find around here these days.
Hector.
Questions or comments about any of Bree's visits, reports?
My only question on that, one where the replication area is in their backyard, did that one already come through for an NOI for that lot?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
ages ago.
Okay, alright,
This is where Scott's saying, it's been there a long time.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those long before we ever put that on there, but same thing. There's a couple of rocks I'm sure they'd love to just put on the edge and say, just
Sure,
don't
they'll
go
have
past.
plenty,
Just
yeah.
don't go past here when you put the,
Yeah,
tell him before he puts the foundation, you just can't get back there. Not after.
right.
Nice job, Bree. Those were
thank you,
awesome.
Tamika. Yeah, I think Brittenell will be fine as long as we keep doing our weekly walks. I think it's all about consistency, so we will keep doing that. It took 2.5 hours. It took
Oh, yeah.
way longer than I was planning for it to
Was that
take.
your first, that was your first walk of that site, right?
No.
No?
It's my third.
Oh,
Yeah, I walked with Alan one day, and then I walked with Tom alone one day, and
Oh,
then
Tom likes to talk.
yes, yes. So, but it was great to have Alan because pretty much Alan, he talked Alan's ear off, and I just went and looked at stuff. So I was like, it's great to have Alan to.
he's your buffer.
I'm gonna tell Tom that.
But it was good.
All right, so we talked about 16 Walnut and how that's moving to the next meeting. As-built requirements checklist, do we have anything for that yet, or are we supposed to completely start from scratch today?
No, I think you guys are just gonna talk about what you would like to see on the as-built, and then I imagine we can create a document that we'll provide when we issue the order conditions. Which I feel like we kind of talked about.
We kind of,
That's what I wrote down.
I don't know that there's anything more we wanna add to it.
I wrote down the
House,
wetland line,
driveway, well, sorry,
structures.
structures, driveway, limit of
line.
work, wetlands.
Should we specify structures including decks?
Probably worthwhile.
Yeah.
How about all the plumbing and electrical fixtures too?
Yeah,
Schedule.
absolutely.
I would like to
Get it
get a
all.
complete map, please, of an as-built of that.
They didn't have that when they built it.
Come on.
House construction, they didn't.
Did I miss anything?
If they have a pool, that'd be a good one.
It's new, so not gonna have it yet.
Hey, you never know. It rains a lot around here.
No.
That's right. Everybody gets a pool.
Yes,
Have we ever had any houses built in town with a pool was built at the time of construction?
I think they have been,
I bet if you did an in-ground
I think
pool,
they have.
you'd probably do
Time
it
to
at the same time.
Makes sense.
so. Cause once you're in there, if you're fortunate enough to be able to do it, that'd be the time to
I'm
do
just-
it.
Right.
I'm just trying to think back and I can't remember one where we actually,
In
the
Princeton,
house
we
got
did.
sold with a pool.
Yep.
I mean, new construction.
I think you should build one.
Huh?
You should build one.
No. Had a pool, got rid of it.
That's right.
You'd have to get rid of sauce.
I can't think of anything else we should put on the checklist.
I don't think so.
Can you draft that up for next time? We'll agree
can.
to it, thank you.
Got it,
Could you put in structures such as but not limited to?
love it,
I think that is very important.
Yeah, the catch-all.
Yeah,
got it,
thank you, Tamika.
of course.
Moving on, Melissa's not here, that's too bad. The OSRP was mentioned at not the last night's select board meeting, the one before that, where we are not eligible for park grants because we do not have a current OSRP. And
How
so,
long out of date is the one we've,
expired 22.
22?
And
That was
I-
that was easy to write.
Yeah, but didn't they do a COVID extension and all
I
that?
don't know.
That's an easy one to write compared to the rest of the crap we used to.
Yeah,
It's not a permit, so I don't know that it's COVID tolling, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. The this commission formed the Open Space Committee 18 months ago now, maybe? I don't remember exactly when, so I shouldn't have said a date, but it's been a while, and I know that they've had problems getting quorum and getting meetings together. I have heard that because of the Viner property, there is some desire to get this done. And so there might be volunteers who would come and join the Open Space Committee, but I'm not gonna do anything without Melissa.
Peter,
Who's on the committee?
it's on the website, if Peter pulls up the website. I did have
Okay,
Melissa today,
Austin.
she said she is trying to get them together in the next couple of weeks. She had
Okay.
already actually been planning that before this came up. But I don't know that she's been able to confirm whether she has a quorum yet or not, but it is in the works.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a subcommittee of the Conservation Commission, so we have the ability to drop members and add members.
Yeah. The listing of folks is on the website. I think it's like Brian Bjorklund, Kevin Jarvie, Melissa.
Yep.
I think Jared, aren't you on it?
I'm
Yeah,
on it,
yeah.
We're trying to schedule our.
Really, you couldn't pipe up. You made her be the bad
I
person.
pointed at myself, you didn't see that.
You're pointing to her.
No. We're trying to schedule a meeting for, I think, the 18th is what we're shooting for right now.
Okay.
We were trying for next week, but not enough people were available. Yeah.
We don't have anybody from the select board?
You don't need them.
Well, there's that. But okay.
We did. Leah was on it.
In fact, we don't even have Melissa's name. Hold on, there's something weird.
Yeah,
There's been
That's a
something weird
presentation
going on.
problem.
It's something with the website, cause
Yeah.
Anita and I have gone in and fixed those, and then like the next day, it just randomly takes names out.
I think that Melissa and
I think you're right about Leah too,
Melissa
Jared.
and Leah both have emails, and that's where it gets weird in the presentation.
Maybe that's why.
Okay, so next time I'd like to discuss more, to understand what the plan is and what we need to do to help them make progress. Now, fortunately, Conservation Commission didn't come up in that discussion of the plan, but we all know that it means it's just gonna be a little time and it will bubble up some more. So, if we need to advertise to get more members, great, we can do that, and then we can appoint as we like.
Ideally, how many members do you wanna see?
Enough to show up and have a quorum.
Well, I mean, it's seven now.
Quorum is based on how many members you got.
Seven should be enough, I mean, especially since it's 2 from Concom, 1 for planning. No,
Well, you're
I'm not
not-
gonna say what I'm gonna say. 1 from Select Board and 3 at large, that's a pretty good mix of people.
I would say.
I just think it's hard, cause people's schedules or they're just not showing
They
up
don't show.
anymore, you know? Maybe it's worth Melissa just asking if the current members feel that they wanna continue to serve, and if they say, yeah, maybe it's not for me,
No, it's not our
We
place to say
we could put
not
something out
be.
there.
I'm interested in making sure that people are showing up for the meetings. And if
Right.
people aren't showing up for the meetings, then we should take some action. But short of that, I wouldn't just kick somebody off for the
Oh, yeah,
my own
no, I'm
jobs,
not
yeah.
suggesting that, maybe just like a check-in just to say,
Yep,
hey, how do you
absolutely.
feel about staying on or not?
We got one member there that probably won't show.
I was thinking words like that I decided not to say out loud.
Well,
But in any event, so that's where we are.
Alright, I'll put on the next agenda.
Thank you. Yeah, let's carry that forward. Let's have the discussion. What can we do to help them get unblocked? Wetlands bylaw. So, of course, I never sent the email. Last week, we talked about me putting a new version, the current version up on the SharePoint. It was there that night, but I just never remembered to send email about it. In fact, it should be the top level directory. There should be something called bylaws and regs or something.
Bylaws and regs.
So, yeah, and if you look, here, I can pull that up here.
Can Can I just tell you how much I love SharePoint compared to the Google Drive?
Yeah.
It's just so great.
20, Bryce, bylaws and regs. There it is. So bylaws almost always have a chapter and an article number, but this isn't numbered yet because it's not ready to go in place. And I will always have a date code on every file so you know when I created it. So we went over it last time, I'm not gonna go over it again. I haven't had a chance to do any more, so hopefully next time I'll have something more, because this is, gosh, gonna be a short meeting, what a pity.
You might beat Melissa's time.
No, we're over 42 minutes, I think.
Okay.
So that's where we are. Everyone, please feel free to look, review. Feel free to send me comments, feel free to bring up comments at this meeting. And I know Glenda wanted an email specifically to her, and I didn't do that either, so. That is where we are with that.
Peter,
Yes,
I imagine that in the winter I will not have as many site visits.
I would expect that, yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to offer to help you with the bylaw, with writing it
Sure.
for some time, because I think it'll be good for me to learn it, since I will be administering it at some point.
Yes, and after we pass that, our lives all become much more difficult financially. Just because of what money we are not allowed to spend, you know, we can't use Wetlands Protection Act funds for our bylaw.
Right.
And so life just becomes more interesting and difficult for everybody to manage everything. But
We can use our bylaw to charge local fees, right?
that is exactly right, so.
Why do we need a bylaw? What is,
it gives
the
it-
Wetland Protection Act not?
It gives us,
Not good enough.
it actually gives us teeth and gives us some power, cause right now all we do is talk.
Why do you wanna bite?
Do you want DEP and DCR to bite, or you don't want us to talk, you wanna talk to us?
That's not gonna stop them from biting, cause you got a bylaw. Just curious.
No, DEP and
Hard enough
DCR
now,
can
never
still
mind doing more
maintain,
stuff.
still have certain jurisdictional issues because of WPA, but the fact is, we don't believe that it is the commission's belief as a whole that the WPA is not sufficiently strict for for the goals that the commission has for wetlands protection. That's the 5-second tour. Exactly what's different? As we develop the bylaw, we'll make those much more clear. And because we still have to have discussions here about what we're really going to do, and once we get the limits known, and we all collectively decide on what the limits are, that's when we'll be able to say specifically this and this and
Every
that.
town that I do work in that has their own bylaws, this process is 10 times longer and 100 times more difficult for a simple process. That's all I get to say on that. It's good for me, but I don't think it's good for the poor homeowner or the
Well,
person.
There are some things we need to be concerned with, and I think you're right that making sure that we do not make the process harder for the average homeowner, I think is an important goal.
It's,
And in fact,
That's a-
generically
that's a
not make
fact.
it significantly harder, I think that,
I got one set 716,
so,
just three.
but more than that, until we have something closer to written, we don't have enough written down right now to say these are the things we want to improve.
713. I have another one, Ralph. I had a-
Questions, comments?
I'll start with those two and send them.
With the
Yes.
bonds of brown.
Perfect.
A while back, we lost a member.
Mhm.
COVID, and we did say we were gonna plant a tree.
I'd forgotten about planting the tree, right.
And I was asked about it by a widow,
Mm-hmm.
what the conservation commission, what's holding the conservation commission up. And I said,
That's the building.
I'll check.
The house is over here.
That's what I'm checking.
That's their
If it's a matter of funding and stuff, I don't know, maybe,
pond
you know.
brown.
Yeah.
We can figure that out.
I
you know,
remember somebody.
I mean, it's just a matter,
mentioning this
we did
picture.
say we were gonna do it,
Mm-hmm.
and it hasn't happened, and it's been,
So the question is, let's start with where are we gonna put it?
Yeah,
that's the good question, I mean,
Go to the select board, if the commission would plant a tree in town
yeah.
property.
because we've still got that piece of property
Yeah,
across Main Street,
no, I agree, it's been
that little-
a very
that
long
little
time.
piece,
Oh, like right next to the school?
yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah,
There's
Yeah,
that.
so part of that.
I mean, I'm not sure I
So
wanna make
that
somebody go all the
is-
way to Skyline Drive, but that's our property also.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it at Skyline, I
No,
would,
I don't think it's the right place, but I think,
I think up here, you know, somewhere around the center, I mean,
yeah,
Cause there's a spill.
I think
that little piece of
Common,
property
actually.
might be a good spot, you know,
Put them back out, cause
Little tree.
DOT wants
little
them
marker,
too.
you know,
mhm.
I will send these to
some
you too.
signage that,
do you have, what is your
Memorialize it.
number, so that way I can
Yeah, 508.
What kind
259.
of tree? Do you have any suggestions on a
08.
tree that might do well?
Okay, does
I
eight
didn't need it
AM
to make-
What
work
kind,
for
what kind, do
you
you have
on
any
Monday?
thoughts
Okay.
or suggestions on what
I'll-
kind of tree? Like, are we talking like an evergreen tree or like a deciduous tree?
I don't know that we got that specific with
I
it.
don't think we ever did.
Chestnut tree.
I know he was into fruit
Actually,
trees,
chestnut.
but that, you know,
Fruit trees.
fruit trees can be, you know,
Fruit
problem.
trees don't really survive very well.
Yeah, that's why, you know, I think that would be something to kick around that. But I think we should move, you know, sooner rather than
Yes, we should
later.
start moving on this.
Where are we gonna put it?
Gee, if only we hadn't just had that discussion, Scott, that you were so busy talking over.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention.
Oh, the answer is we're not sure yet. So-
We're not certain, but we're talking about the
We'll read it in
property.
minutes.
Yeah.
One of the ones on the common that doesn't look too healthy, and plant the new one that is healthy. Replace an old,
I would see if we can get permission to put one out in the common somewhere.
I agree.
If you're gonna hide it, if you're gonna hide it
Actually-
somewhere else, it makes no sense.
Yeah, putting it on the common, I like, putting it basically on the,
Opposite side of the road.
yeah, the opposite side of, you know, away from the bandstand, if you
Yes.
will.
Yeah, put it
Where there are no trees, or they've got two.
Yeah,
Putting another tree there, especially the shade tree, has value, I think.
Right.
That's where I think it should go, with a plaque of some sort.
Yeah.
Not a gravestone like we did for.
That's Louis Canacchioli.
Well, the kids over.
No, it's Louis Canacchioli's designee. He says he didn't do it, he farmed it out to somebody else who.
Right. I don't want to blame him. I don't want to blame him.
But yeah, I mean, that seems like the most, and you get the most use out of it once it grew.
Right, so, we need to come up with the right plan and the right, and so that we can ask the select board to plant the tree.
If we can do it, and guess what? Why don't we ask Mr. Bessie about it? Ask him for a suggestion for a tree.
Ask who?
Mr. Bessie, Rutland Nurseries.
That's why I said, under the spreading chestnut tree.
Right.
That's what I was getting at, planting that chestnut.
But that's one of those, I mean, chestnut trees are great. I mean, I have the hybrid elms that I planted on my property, which are awesome. But one of those, something like that, ask him, you know what? He'd be happy to do it, I'm sure. He's pretty good with stuff like that.
Who's gonna reach out?
Doesn't like me. Another one.
Let Joe can reach out.
What's that? Yeah, I'll have Joe reach out, sure.
Why, just because I bought his house?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do have one question.
Yes.
A question. Where do we stand with that? I'm gonna call it sewer line going from Mushkapog Road, or whatever you wanna call it, over to across 68 and up into the hayfields, cornfields, or whatever on the other side of Route 68. Where does that stand? Anywhere?
What are you talking about?
Are you
Nobody's.
talking about
if
the
this-
Randy Jordan project?
Yes, the Randy Jordan project.
Yeah,
I
that,
didn't wanna use the name because
that, I've touched base with DCR, I've touched base with Mass DEP. He cannot do that without a permit. He knows that that is the case. If he applies for a permit and gets rejected, he can appeal it.
So what's he wanna do? Put an underground pipe to pipe for
He wants to
water?
go through the culvert so that he can do his spreading.
He wants to pump manure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I would call the sewer line, up to where that
What the heck was
that
that?
dirt is, that,
Yeah.
cornfields, the dirty, the DD
Mhm.
area.
Yep.
He wants to pump it up there and spray it.
And that, I walk
You can-
that culvert a lot. It's an intermittent stream. It has.
Yeah, and even
findings.
that, you're not gonna pump, I mean, you can't do it with a E1 system, you can't go across without putting it in concrete, and also, you're not gonna do it with that either.
I know, it's gonna-
He wants to put a pipe, temporary pipe into the pumping and then remove the pipe and.
Yeah.
As you point out, Skip, it is sewage. And it isn't going through a wetland resource area, so.
It isn't,
It is.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's going right
absolutely.
through the whole brick
Yeah.
swamp.
So, permits, let's see what it'll do.
I haven't received a response, so, and
We get bigger mosquitoes that way.
You don't want me to answer that? They already got green ones floating down in there already. Green and blue and red.
Moving on. Is there any other business before the commission this evening?
Vote to adjourn.
Second.
Sheesh. Took you long enough. Roll call.
Elko, aye.
Clock eye.
Gentilucci, aye.
Well, I can abstain.
Crane eye. We're adjourned.